marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did anyone else kind of raise an eyebrow when I said I don't think men should get married?
Yeah, why do you think that?
Because men lose in marriage.
How? Lose?
Men lose in marriage.
What do y'all lose?
We are at a disadvantage.
Is it because like an older guy could potentially be better or more in their prime as an old guy? Did I say that twice? You know, like for a woman, they always say she's passing her prime when she's younger, but a young man, nobody wants to be with no clown-ass young boy. Like if you're starting to act mature, are you saying like an older man is primer than a younger man, and that's why a marriage would be a loss?
Well, I mean, to some degree, maybe age plays some factor in it, but men just lose in marriage. And here's why. Okay, so first off, and I think this first stat, women can also look at this and be like, is this a good idea? So 50% of marriages end in divorce. Mm-hmm. So for both men and women, that's odds aren't looking great. Now, here's some of the shit for why men should not get married. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony and spousal support payments go from men to women. So the stats aren't looking great for men.
Go get you a rider.
A rider? What's that?
Yeah, girl, that's gonna be down.
Oh, a ride or die?
But I gotta argue with you on that.
Okay,
because
go ahead.
The simple fact is the woman provides the household entirely. She's gonna cook, she's gonna clean, she's gonna have a job if she's able to have the job, where the man usually has no responsibility, only just work.
That's not true.
How's that not true?
Household responsibilities?
Take the trash
Men have responsibilities.
Okay, take the trash out, mow the lawn. It's
not
significant as to the household duty for
pretty,
the woman.
pretty significant.
If you go back to biblical days for Adam and Eve, a woman's place is in the house. So it is only fair and it's only right for the man to provide child support and alimony for that woman. Because at the end of the day, the children are with her 24/7 while the man is the breadwinner.
Well, they wouldn't be providing child support and alimony payments while they're married.
Correct, but she's not gonna really have a full-time job.
Because she's gonna have to take
care of the kids. She's gonna have to hold down the household. With a guy, he's only gonna get the kids Tuesday, Thursdays, only whenever he wants to. While she still has to figure childcare out. Like there's a lot more responsibility on a woman than a man, unless he has full custody.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Is that let's say you marry a guy, and maybe you've been married for 3 years. And I'm not an expert in the laws, but the longer you're with someone, I think the longer you would get alimony or spousal support. Sometimes you can get that it's calculated, or sometimes you just get it for life. And it varies by state, and there's all kinds of factors, right? But let's say you're a woman, and have any of you been bored in a relationship?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Any bored? Yeah.
Yes.
Have any of you ended a relationship?
Yeah. Because you were bored?
None of you have, but have any of you broken up with a guy? Ended a relationship?
No.
Because you were bored?
Not because
but
of
But maybe,
because of
sure,
bored.
there's other factors, but here's the thing. Let's say you get bored in the marriage. You have a document that now says, well, you can walk away with no repercussions and you get this amount of money, you get half a it starts incentivizing you towards wanting the divorce. So the way the marriage laws are set up currently in the West, whether you're a man or a woman, speaking outside of marriage here, you should never sign a contract with someone who is rewarded for breaking that contract.
Yep.
And it happens to be the case that when it comes to marriage, whoever is not the breadwinner in that relationship is rewarded for breaking the contract financially. And
it does sound a little crazy.
So,
Just a little bit.
but that's the
Women do
thing. Like,
better.
that's the thing. And, you know, people change their mind. People, you know, look, marriage. Does anyone know the vows that they say when you get married?
Till death do us part, through sickness and health.
That's the one. Till death do us part. 50% of marriages end in divorce. So people's words in today's day and age
Don't
mean
mean
nothing.
Not at
I
all.
But
agree.
but till death do us part. That's not just romantic. That has to mean something, right? So it's clear to me that when people are getting married and they say till death do us part, that's not happening anymore. And part of that is, I think that's a societal thing. I think it's a cultural thing. There's a whole bunch of reasons why, but the marriage laws are also a factor. And the marriage laws, as they are currently written, suck.
There's literally a whole show where you meet somebody behind a wall for 7 days, and then you see if you want to get married, and you think that it matters. No, like people are definitely crumbling the way that was set up originally.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost my point. But it was put across. We understand what I was getting to, right?
Kind of. But okay, I just want to point out, as men, we're looking at other men and hearing their experiences and hearing how they're getting destroyed in family court, how they're getting destroyed in divorces, how they're getting destroyed also with child custody, because oftentimes custody defers to the mother. And sure, there are deadbeat dads out there, but there are men out there that want 50-50 custody.
You should really work it out with somebody that would take that into consideration when you guys are done.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so here's a list of some very attractive, high status, wealthy men that have all had divorces.
All of them.
Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Dr. Dre, Ryan Reynolds, Tom Brady, Lance Armstrong, Alex Rodriguez, Channing Tatum, Chris Rock, Ben Affleck, Chris Pratt, Liam Hemsworth, Ben Stiller, David Duchovny, Orlando Bloom, Tiger Woods, Sean Penn, Sylvester Stallone, Paul McCartney, Ryan Felipe, Jason Momoa, Michael Jordan.
Won't this
Wait,
take you
Jason
back?
Momoa is not divorced. They're separated.
I mean,
They're separated.
I mean,
They're
but
not
still.
divorced yet. They're separated.
But come on, Jason Momoa is a catch. The point I'm trying to make is, if these men, highly successful, very attractive, high status, high earners, if they can't hold on to a girl, what chance does the average man have?
Doesn't that bring you back to a man having a bigger pool of options and doing whatever the he wants because he has all those options? And of course, a woman who wants to be with a man that she chose to be with, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna expect you to hold on to your vows, but you're so famous and you're so hot and you can talk to anybody you want, you know? I'm done.
Okay.
What's the reasons for divorce?
What's their I mean, I didn't write down their reasons for divorce. Maybe in some of these scenarios or examples I provided, perhaps there was there could have been infidelity, who knows? But I mean, look, you have, for example, you have Jeff Bezos. Okay, you have three of the richest men in the world: Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. All
Elon
divorced.
Musk got a lot of kids. That's a lot of baby mama
He
drama.
does. He's doing something
Right,
interesting.
and then
there.
if you listen to his Twitter and all this, he has a very interesting mindset. So who's really gonna put up with that, even if it's for money?
For the divorce,
Wait.
did the woman make the reason for wanting to leave? I feel like it doesn't usually start
that
with
was
her. I don't think she
her.
was sitting there like, how can I just take all this nigga's money? I think she was like, he does a lot of shady, weird things, and I don't think I want to be in this situation. Maybe it hurt me a lot, and now I want to take all your money. That's fine with me. I mean, you hurt me deeply. We were supposed to be here till death.
It's just I think if we want to incentivize men to want to get married, there's gonna have to be a reworking of the marriage laws in this country, because unless you have the wool pulled over your eyes as a guy and you've just been oblivious to what's going on, like,
What if you're broke?
bro,
What if you're a broke man? and you get married.
There are stories
What are you
of
scared of?
men divorcing their wives, and their wives were the breadwinner, and the men they get
They
paid.
get it.
Say they
That's
got
what I'm
Alimony.
equal
saying.
pay,
So that's
and
what I said.
they got a divorce. Now what?
I'm not sure how that plays out. If there's, I'm not sure how that plays out, but the marriage laws are pretty. There's definitely a bias against men in the court system. There, and you see that in custody, in how custody is awarded primarily to women.
But y'all
Because
didn't
it came
carry the
out
child.
of my
What's that?
Y'all didn't carry the child for 9 months.
Really?
Y'all didn't have to encounter that.
You didn't have everything that comes along
Well,
with
so
it.
I think there is women. I think are probably during the earlier years. I think are a bit more nurturing than men are. But I think it's important for a child to have both the mother and the father in the picture.
But that's not our society anymore.
It should be,
It's not our society anymore.
but it should be.
Why should it be? Because
Send
now you're
the-
saying now you're like excluding like the lesbians with the lesbians, the women that are like really successful and only want to have IVF. Like you're excluding them. So
Well, okay, so
technically,
for lesbian and gay couples, a two-parent household is better than the one-parent household. So if it's two moms or two dads, that's fine.
I don't agree with that because you got women that really want IVF and have a baby and are able to provide for
Well,
their kid.
that might be fine, but what I would say to them is they are stacking the deck against their kid
How?
by not having another parent in the household, by not having, for the women, by not having a father. Because men and women, like, we kind of parent a bit differently.
What would you say?
Okay, so, I mean,
Your dad's gonna be like, "You're a whore," and you're like,
Yes.
"Why are you a
there
whore?"
you go. Exactly. But so, I mean, and the statistics kind of exemplify why a two-parent household is ideal. You know, I don't know the exact numbers, but the majority of people who are incarcerated came from one-parent households. The majority of school shooters came from one-parent households.
Were their parents
There's-
into guns or in jail, and that's why they weren't around?
I mean, it could be a myriad of factors. It could be the father could have been in jail. It could have just been a
Pressure.
breakup and the mom didn't want to pursue it. Maybe the dad didn't want to pursue it. But the statistics are out. Children who grow up in two-parent households are at every statistical advantage. And by the way, I want to make something clear. I'm not saying that if you grow up in a single mother or single father household that you're going to be a failure or a criminal. That's
We
not
know
what I'm
that.
saying. But you are at an advantage growing up in a two-parent household. Go ahead, Ginny.
Would you rather have, like, if it's like a toxic environment, to have that two parent, or would you rather have a single parent but like, do you get what I mean?
Well, it's difficult, right? Like if it's really that toxic, I mean, I think first
Then the
off,
single would
Dude.
be a
Well-
lot better than having two parents who are constantly fighting.
There are dudes in jail for a variety of things because they grew up in a two-person home where their parents beat the out of each other. Like, I don't know.
sure. But okay, the majority
Even verbally.
But you can't go based off the incarceration because let's be honest, majority of the incarcerations are minorities. You can't do that. It's a whole bunch of bias in the United States and prejudice. So you kind of have to factor that out. Like you're doing the studies based off of like who's in jail. It's mostly black and browns in jail. So
Yes,
you kind of.
yeah.
So I can't agree with you on that part.
But the single motherhood rate in the black community
It's high for what?
is very high.
But for what reason?
I'm not sure.
Because the minority
Yeah,
is
because thanks to-
incarcerated.
Correct. Due to incarceration and the crack pandemic. Not to mention, thanks to Bill Clinton implementing that whole, we're going to knock them hard, go down. There you go. Mass incarceration. So I'm just saying, you can't go based off the stats.
Well, I mean,
We're trying to get better, but it's still in our
The
system.
minority
what I would say though, whatever race you are, you probably shouldn't get knocked up by a criminal
But not everybody
by
starts
someone
off a
who,
criminal.
what's that?
Not everybody starts off as a criminal. The average brown and black person is going to be profiled.
But you know women that are attracted to like gangbangers, like there are women out there that are attracted to guys that are drug dealers. Like there are women that will go for men like that. So look, could a guy have a clean record and then you fuck with him and then he does a murder bid? I guess. But like usually you see most people that are like incarcerated, like the signs are going to be there.
Well,
Not
he's
all of
in
them.
jail for having an ounce of weed in the back of his car. Like,
Yeah, that's
no,
fucked
we
up.
all
That's
The
okay.
incident that
California where it's
happened,
legal,
the incident
but-
that happened in New York, where they arrested all the five black boys because they didn't have no witnesses and they were all incarcerated. Just like the Spanish girl that was incarcerated and they finally released her. Like there's multiple scenarios of incidents of innocent people
Okay.
like me or you that are just locked up on a daily basis,
So
not even just
I-
that, losing their lives.
losing everything.
You're like, what?
I know I didn't want to try to be depressing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll do it. No.
I mean, ultimately, I think my point still stands, though. I mean, we can talk about the potential reasons for why, but the point I'm just trying to make is that you put your children at the greatest advantage in a two-parent household. So if you're a single mother, you should want a father, whether it's the biological father or a stepfather, although preferably the biological
What if it's your
father
dad?
should be. What's that?
What if it's your dad? Oh my, he has a grandpa to look up to.
That could work too.
Like, it
I
doesn't
think.
just have to be the dad.
But
Dad,
I do think we need more positive male role models
I agree.
in
Should
people's
talk to the
lives.
men about that.
Talk to the men about that.
Don't
Yes.
you think?
Talk to them.
Wrong group. No.
But okay. But okay. Look, going back to the marriage thing, it's just a bad bet for men. Men, don't get married. Don't cohabitate.
Men get married if you want to get
Don't-
married.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's
It's a trap.
Not every female's gonna go after your money though. Like, I mean,
What if she got that flame?
Flame
Like,
what? Pussy?
You know it.
That's a terrible
bad,
reason.
That's a bad.
That's a
wait, that was
terrible
horrible.
reason.
I talk about weed all day.
That's a-
Like, this
oh,
is gas.
But yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, guys, here's what I recommend. And you know, I had I was involved. I was a plaintiff in the lawsuit, and I remember before they heard the civil cases, it was like the judge was hearing a couple of family court cases. So while I was waiting for my case to get called, the judge pulled up a mother and a couple that was in the process of getting divorced, and they had a kid. It was the most depressing thing I ever heard. These two grown adults in front of a judge arguing about the custody and the money. And it's like, I thought to myself, I never want to be in that position. So men, and honestly, maybe women too, I don't know. My suggestion would be go spend a day or two at family court, watch some divorce proceedings, watch some custody proceedings, and then decide if you want to sign a legally binding contract
Why don't you
and get
be
married.
married and then go look at that and then say, oh, maybe we don't want to put ourselves through this. We want to work on building up together. Like, it doesn't have to be before you. I mean, that's a good way to prepare, I guess.
Well, yeah, but
for
you-
something sad, you're really setting yourself up to be by yourself, which is not what we're all here to do.
Well, I think you can still have a life partner.
But
I
then
think-
if you leave
You're
your life
scared of
partner, then
commitment?
you have to pretty much go through a divorce
That's the
depending on
only-
the state you're living in.
You have to what?
So depending on the state that you're living in, if y'all are cohabitating, then if y'all decide to split, you still have to get a divorce,
You're-
like Texas and Florida.
You're talking about common law
Mhm,
marriage.
common law.
Yeah.
So that applies to a lot
Yes.
of states. So
Thank you
I'm
for bringing that
just
up.
saying.
If you're in a common law marriage state, look it up. Don't cohabitate.
Yep.
Be careful if
Don't
you're
do
if you're
anything.
living with her for a certain period of time, the government's going to be like, well, you weren't technically married, but you're married.
Mm-hmm.
So just be careful, guys. But yeah, like I said, go to the court, go to your local courthouse, sit in for a couple hours, family court, watch the divorce proceedings. That shit is f***ing depressing. Anyways, I just
I don't doubt it.
word.
For sure.
I feel like I've just. Okay. Okay, so let's do a video. Or wait, do we have any soup chats? I think we got some soup chats. Here we go. We got Davon Jackson here with the $10 soup chat. I would kindly ask the women to state what a man gets from a wife that he wouldn't get from a girlfriend outside of tax purposes.